I think an entrepreneur is someone who's willing to take risk in advance of an idea. That can be in a lot of different scenarios, right? That can be someone who's working out on their own in our traditional sense of entrepreneurship, but it also can be someone within a company who's trying to advance an idea or change or steer that ship in a different direction. But the key is someone with an idea who's willing to put something on the line to achieve it and believe at the other side there's a payoff for an audience, for themselves, for their team.
You must have met a tremendous number of entrepreneurs through working at Inc. Do they share the same traits, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. All a little bit crazy, but in the right way. I think what that means is that, they all have an idea. They all believe wholly in their idea. They're clever and resourceful in how to bring that idea to light. And they don't take no very easily. I think that's a really important thing, that they're willing to face lots of challenges, willing to see lots of doors slammed in their face and still move forward. That is really the set of characteristics that I see across the board.
Are entrepreneurs typically difficult to manage?
So I would say that, there are those people who are comfortable in an organization and those people who need to go out on their own. And they can be both. You can have an intrapreneur in a big organization, someone who's idea driven, but has larger team goals in mind always. And then you can have someone who just has to do it themselves, who can't not be the boss. And I think both of those kinds of people are really valuable.
Being an entrepreneur comes with a lot of challenges and also often with a degree of risk as well. How do you learn to cope with the challenges and the risk?
I think there's no question that you have to be someone who's comfortable with risk. We see that people in the United States anyway, who are entrepreneurs tend to be younger or tend to be older, which means that middle part where you have a lot of other obligations, where you're raising a family, where you're paying a mortgage on a house or something like that, gets in the way of entrepreneurship. That level of risk is not tolerable for a lot of people. So right out of college, you have opportunity. Once you've gotten to the other side of your career, you have opportunity again, right? So I think there are some fundamental risks in the way we live that prevent a lot of people from being entrepreneurs. But ultimately, what you have to decide is that you are in charge of your destiny as an entrepreneur, and that whatever challenges are put to you, you are savvy enough, you're clever enough that you can overcome them or dance around them or make them irrelevant to you. You minimize the risk through the way you think.
Is the key for an entrepreneur just one piece of advice, and that is to recognize the idea that will work? Is that all an entrepreneur needs to do? That's the basis qualification.
So, it's hard to say, right? Because the best
well, if you don't recognize that brilliant idea, if the light bulb doesn't go on, then you're not an entrepreneur.
Yeah, what I would say is you can have the light bulb moment a lot, and the real test of it is whether it lights up the eyes of other people, right? Is there really a market for it? Because there are lots of ideas, lots of solutions, not all of them work. Some of them come down to timing, right? It's just that the infrastructure isn't right for your idea. And if you were there 5 years later, you would have been successful. So there are lots of complications, and it's why you can say, I had that idea, and maybe you didn't pursue it. Maybe the market wasn't right for it. There are a lot of factors going into the magic. It's lightning in a bottle ultimately when you have one of those really successful businesses.
It's not enough to have the right idea, it's having the right idea at the right time. Is that the single piece of advice you give to entrepreneurs?
I think that's really incredibly important, is to ask yourself, is the infrastructure to support my idea in place? Is the consumer of the mind to take advantage of my idea right now? Are investors interested in solving this problem? So the timing of it is absolutely crucial.
Scott Omelianuk, many thanks to you for joining us on The Agenda.
My pleasure, Stephen.